I hope you guys are still happy after our 2-0 victory against Spurs tonight. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Line TV. Welcome to the player ratings video. Of course, I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions on who performed well, and I'm going to give a score to them afterwards. But you guys, before I start this video, remember, I have released a match review. It is out now. It is going to be in the card above, so if you want to get theirs quickly before or after the video, you can do that. Getting straight into things, starting with Caballero in goal. Now, a lot of eyes are on Kepa tonight because, of course, Kepa was kicked out of the team. Sarri did confirm that it is payback for, his selfish actions in the cup final. And how did Caballero perform? I have to say the guy was very solid. He looked like a keeper that he looked like he'd been playing for a while because he looked very confident in goal. He was very confident coming out to, make aerial saves. His positional sense was very good as well. His shot stopping was on point. I thought that it was a very good, solid performance. He had no issues tonight whatsoever. And it's great that we have such a reliable number 2. I'm going to be giving Caballero a 6 out of 10. That doesn't mean that Caballero was bad. For me, a 6 out of 10 just means that it was a standard performance. Moving on to Petra, and Aspi was on point tonight. I felt that he was very combative. He was going in very hard for tackles. He was really playing with a lot of pride on his shoulders as well. I thought it was a very solid performance. Of course, he was helped out a lot more because we were playing much more defensively and we were more compact in that sense as well. But as I keep stressing, when we do play like this gives even more confidence to Aspi to get tighter to his opponent. Once he does that, very few players can get past him in those situations. I thought that he led by example, of course, and it's unfortunate, but some of his play in the final third wasn't as amazing. For the score I'm going to give him, most of the score is going to be coming from his solid defensive display. I'm going to be giving Petra a 7 out of 10. Moving on to our 2 centre-backs, Luiz and Rudiger, I'm going to be giving both of these guys the same score, and because of that, I'm going to be reviewing them together. Now, I have to say, their performances recently have been incredible. They were incredible against Man City. They've continued that same standards in the Spurs game. I thought they both led by example. They were both very aggressive in the 50-50. They came out on top time and time again. I thought that the few times they had to defend out wide, both Rudiger and Luiz were on point. They were lions, they were warriors, and that's what you want to see from your centre-backs. And in a way, that's one of the main reasons as to why Sarri likes to use Luiz and Rudiger. He likes his defenders to have that type of aggression and nasty streak in them where they're not going to get bullied, they are going to play mean. And I think he does have that in Rudiger and Luiz. And of course with these two, when our fullbacks aren't leaving them exposed, when they are in line with them, they have even more confidence defending because these guys are much better essentially. I thought positional wise as well, on point, distribution wise on point. A top performance on both players. I'm going to be scoring both Rudiger and Luiz an 8.5 out of 10. Now moving on to Marcos Alonso at left back, and this guy was under a lot of scrutiny because I think we all expected Emerson to start, especially when Sarri had said that he's been playing on point. So it was quite a surprise to see Alonso start this game, but Sarri had his tactical reasons, and they were that Alonso is very tall, Spurs are a very aggressive, tall team, and on top of that, Spurs like to play a lot of crosses, so in that sense, Alonso's hard to make sense. But did he perform well? I have to say, as I was saying in the match review, this was Marcos Alonso's best defensive display for us this season by far. I think that maybe having a rest helped him a bit, but I think what also helped him was the fact that he wasn't as exposed. Sarri is thinking about making that left-hand side more solid because he knows that, Alonso has been a liability. He doesn't have that recovery pace, but Alonso was on point in his 50-50s. He played with a lot of desire as well. He put his body on the line when he had to. I thought defensively very good, but it's the same as Aspi. Offensively, still not on point. Still losing the ball quite sloppily when it comes to build-up play. But for his score, he's going to be gaining most of his score due to his defensive performance. I'm going to be giving Marcos Alonso a 7 out of 10. Now moving on to Jorginho, and I thought that again, he was on point. And he seems to do better having that protection where, the defensive line is nearer to him and he has more support for those wide areas when Kova and Kante come back to make a flat midfield 3. I think that way Jorginho doesn't get exposed as much, and that's when you can really start to notice just how good of a footballer he is. When it comes to his build-up play at the back, there's not many players better than him. When it comes to his intelligence, look at the positions he takes up on the field. Look at when he decides to press and when he doesn't. He just understands the system to a T, and he's extremely useful to have. This guy put in a shift as well. Great performance by him. I'm going to be giving Jorginho a 7 out of 10. Now, moving on to Kante. This guy, I keep praising him time and time again. And it's like, there's nothing really new to praise him for because he's just been close to perfect. I think because, a lot of times now, we're playing more defensively. When he does sit back a bit deeper, not only does it help the team out defensively, not only does it help out Jorginho and Aspi as well, but I think that Kante can do what he does great. And that's driving the ball into midfield. He was doing that time and time again. He's one of the most intelligent players I've ever seen because I kind of think he's one of those rare players that can play in any system because he's just that complete as a player. Just his intelligence and the selfish things he does. I get like these Michael Ballack vibes of him playing in this role because, there were times he was breaking forward, stretching the play, making runs out wide, getting into the box, dropping deeper. Very tenacious in the 50-50s. I feel like Kante's tackling the past few games has got even better. He's winning everything. No one can get the ball off him. And just his build-up play and how he helps start the attack. I think this tactical tweak by Sarri has made us see an even better N'Golo Kante because he's looking even more like an action man. I think his performance against Man City was better than the one today. But to think that this guy played 120 minutes against Man City, playing very intense football, running a lot, to bring that same intensity against Spurs. Thank God we signed him, one of the best ever players we ever signed. I'm going to be scoring Kante an 8 out of 10. Moving on to Cover, and Cover was on point today. I think that now that Cover doesn't have that license to have to carry the ball in the final third to help start attacks, he's much better deeper. I've always said that. I like that Sarri's passing responsibilities to Kante. Cover was on point today. That tackle he made against Sissoko, that nice slide tackle. We know that Cover's a player that likes to slide in or win the ball back. He was doing that time and time again today. It was a very effective and hard-working performance. There were times where he showed his ability on the ball, especially in tight situations where, we were able to keep the ball in those tight areas. And that's a great asset that really helps the team more. I thought defensively, Cover was on point. He really played close for Alonso a lot. Tactically, he was very good. He was very intelligent and he works hard. Application on point. I'm going to be giving Cover a 7 out of 10. Now, moving on to Pedro. And I'm going to start off a little bit on a negative because his first half was very average. It really was. He wasn't really providing any spark in the final third. I thought that some of his play and use of the ball wasn't normally correct. He was slowing down things quite a bit and he wasn't getting past his man. He was getting tackled and you're thinking, when's Hudson-Odoi going to come on? But it comes to the second half, and for his score today, most of his score is going to be based on his second half performance, but I have to take into consideration his first half performance to keep it objective, but he was much better. His goal, for me, was incredible. Quick thinking, composure, and skill. Alderweireld just couldn't do anything. I did not expect Pedro to have that type of close control and balance, but it was exceptional play then. And of course, that incredible piece of play, not too long after that in our own half, where a 10 out of 10 slide tackle from behind 1 minute back, and he skips past a few players and plays the ball out wide. This is the arrogant, cocky, Barcelona Pedro that it's a shame that we never get to see too much of. A part of me thinks that if we had like a Sarri when guys like Willian and Petra were here all those years back, these guys would be much better and we see a lot more nuance to their game right now. But I think this kind of game really sums up Pedro as a player. The most bipolar player I've seen wear our shirt for a while. Moments of frustration, moments of being average, and incredible individual moments of skill. But because of that first half performance, I'm gonna be scoring Pedro a 6.5 out of 10. Moving on to Eden Hazard. And it seems like, the intense games we've been playing recently starting to take its toll on Hazard. I've been praising the guy's work rate consistently for the past few games now because it's been on point. He's not letting any mistakes happen. He's doing what he has to do. He's been very diligent on top of that, and respect to Hazard. But after that intense game against Man City where he played like 120 minutes, and on top of that, most of that was sprinting great distances, it feels like he was a bit tired today. And Sarri obviously had to make that substitution in the 60th minute to bring on Willian to help replace him. In that sense, and even though we understand the context as to why Hazard wasn't so amazing today, of course I still have to give him a score for the match today. It was a very standard performance from Hazard, and I'm going to be scoring him a 6 out of 10. Moving on to Higuain. And I like the player. I wish we created a few more chances for him. I think the chances we do create for him are very hard. And I think that the fact that he's hitting these efforts on target shows you the class and ability of the player. So unlucky that he hit the post of that effort, but great positioning again. His movement was constantly dragging guys like Alderweireld out wide constantly. And a lot of his off-the-ball stuff is going to be giving him his score from me for today. You know, I can't blame him for not taking his efforts. I mean, he did well with the opportunities that came. It's just that we aren't that team yet that are consistently creating chances for our striker. I'm hoping that now our intense period's over, Sarri is going to be using Emerson, Ruben way more religiously because that's going to help our strikers score. I'm going to be scoring Higuain a 6 out of 10. Now moving on to Sarri to end this video. Now when you saw the lineup, all of us were thinking the guy's bottled it. Imagine doing this right now when the pressure's so high, but again, you know, games like this really makes you realize that you need to humble yourself when you have opinions on football. You know, we aren't the experts. You know, we have a lot of fascination and understanding of the game, but there's still things that we're not always going to consider when it comes to, you know, selections and tactics. And I think Sarri proved us all wrong today. I think the decision to use Alonso was great because it really summed up the type of game that Sarri was hoping we were going to play, and everything went to plan. Defensively, we're extremely solid again, and the guy's proving that he's more than just his Sarri ball football. He's a great manager on top of that. His defensive setup has been perfect. I don't know if Conce's was better than Sarri so far. Maybe it's too soon to say, but I have to say that I haven't felt this type of like inner confidence in this team when it comes to defending for a while now. I think what makes me happy is that maybe our counter-attacking threat is a bit more potent compared to how it was last season under Conte. But Sarri got things spot on. The game plan was on point. The game management, the substitutes came on at the right time on top of that. And I think that it was a very good tactical performance. I think obviously his performance against Man City was much better. So that means that he won't be getting the same score from me. But the rating I'm going to be giving Sarri for tonight is going to be an 8 out of 10. But anyway, you guys, that's going to bring an end for today's video. Please like, comment and subscribe. As I said, I have released a match review, so check that out right afterwards. It's going to be on the end screen or in the card above. And also, if you want to help me out on Patreon, do that. Get access to exclusive videos. Apologies to Patreon subs right now. I'm going to be releasing the videos all tomorrow, don't worry about that. It's just been quite hard, you know, with work and making videos. It's been really hard for me to find the time. But don't worry, I'm going to get on board with all of this. You'll have all the videos for tomorrow. I'm going to keep it moving, you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm NiniFC. This is Blue Line CV. Signing out.